put it all together, wipe down and condition. That's it. So this is the back of the seat, the backrest of the seat. And this is the difference. It has this cutout right here. Hold it up. It has this cutout right here. I'm gonna show you how to do that. And it has this flap on the bottom. And I'm gonna show you how to do that. But the rest of doing the seat is gonna be exactly the same as doing the bottom part. So stay tuned. Okay, this is the top part of the back seat. You basically do it the same way as you did the other seat. If you don't remember how you did the other seat, go back to my other video. You feel this part in. You see where I hooked it on? So you feel this part in. Do a little cutout right here. I got the clamps right there. All on the edge. And you leave that open. This is the bottom of the seat. You see where I hog ringed that? Now I'm about to lay the foam down. I'm about to glue the foam on top of this. I stuck the glue on there. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I bought this glue. This is my adhesive glue that I'm using. And it kind of fucking sucks. So once this little bit run out that's left in here, I'm gonna switch to some 3M glue. I'm just gonna bite the bullet on this because this shit sucks. It does not stick at all. So this is the seat upside down. This is a little speaker cutout. So what I did was I cut like a half X and then a square. That way I could fold this in and I could fold that in. And I can have, you know, foam to cover up this hard edge right here. And just the hard edges all around. I also cut the corners off of this, so when I fold this in on the side and on the top, that it's not overhanging. So let me roll this back, because I don't want it to overhang this corner. I don't want the foam to overhang this corner, which is why I cut the corners off. So when I tuck it, it's gonna be in here on both sides. See? Now next, I have this Polyfill Project Fleece. Polyfill Project Fleece. I can't fucking read. And it's kind of like jute, but it's just not jute, because you know jute, it kind of like breaks up. Jute is thicker. I don't know if I would or wouldn't recommend jute, but jute is messier. This is a lot cleaner, but it's kind of the same thing. And here is what it looks like. It's basically just like a cotton ball, a thin cotton ball layer of fabric that I'm gonna put over all this. I'm gonna do the same process. I'm gonna lay it down, outline it, then cut it out. And then once I got the right measurements, take the glue, spray it on this foam, and glue it down. And after I do that, I'm gonna cut you back on. So this is what it looks like after I've sprayed and glued down the fleece. Now I'm gonna cut out my little slot, like a triangle and a line. And then I'm gonna test fit the leather, and then we'll show you how to apply that. So the seat didn't come with an area where you can put a listing wire. So I'm just sewing, let me get a better piece. I kind of made it myself with this material. It's just regular material, and then I just sewed somewhere where the loop can go. And then I'm just gonna stick the listing wire in here. But now I'm sewing this to the actual seat cover, see? I'm gonna stick it through there, and that way it attaches, and I'm not punching holes in my leather too tough. So I got this material from Walmart. It's kind of like blue jean material. It's not stretchy in any direction, and it's really like tough. Like you could pull on and tug on, and it's not gonna tear like a t-shirt or a sheet. So I bought this material, I bought like a yard of it, cut a strip out of it, and this is what I'm using. So this is what you're gonna have to do if you want to add a listing wire. And you're going to need a heavy duty sewing machine. I already have a heavy duty sewing machine, so this wasn't a problem for me. But if you don't have one, then you're probably going to have to go to like a place that does alterations, or maybe like an upholstery shop so they can add a listing wire. Because of that, I would say a little bit of the do it at home yourself element has been removed from doing these seats, because you definitely need this little tape section on the back of your seats in order to get it done. I started off the bottom part of the seat, right? Next, I move to this middle so I can center the seat up, so I can center it up. So bottom, start in the middle, work your way out, boom, 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 boom. Then I did the middle, lined up the middle, so I have the seat perfectly lined up. Now I'm gonna work on these corners, tucking these corners in on both sides so that the corners are lined up. And then I'm gonna do the top and the sides. I made some adjustments to this tape. I had to pull it over some because this box, the speaker box that goes on the front, it has to cover these corners. So, and it has to be tight around these corners. So I pulled this over some, past the little hump that I was showing you earlier. And this tape that I made is attached to this first bar, right? All the way down. See, it's 2 bars, one right here, one right here, one right here. It's attached to the first bar. But down here, you can't see it because it's tucked underneath here. It's attached to the second bar in the corner. So it's very tight in the corners on both sides. It's very tight. Well, you can see that ring right there. It's attached to the second one. And all the rest is attached to the first one. And then when you stretch this leather around, what you want to do is, let me sit it up. There's this bar. You don't want to stretch it over this bar, which is what I did the first time. I had to undo it. You want to tuck it underneath the bar and then pull it through. And you actually, on this little flap right here, I added a tape, but you actually don't need it because it's enough leftover leather to where you could easily fasten it to this pole right here, which I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take this flap off and then I'm gonna just put the straight leather attached to there. This front speaker mount is 4 screws, just like when you took it off. 4 screws, 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. My screws were rusted out. I reused these 2 bottom screws, but as you can see, they're mad rusty. And I just bought new screws for the top, which made it way easier. Cause trying to re-screw them old rusty screws, I mean, I really should have redid these 2. I really should redo these 2 as well. But this thing is hard to put in. So let me flip it over. So this is what the little compartment looks like. Now the little speaker pod. You see the replacement screws I got in the back. I got them a little bit longer, which made it easier to screw in. And you see how, like, this has to be right here. Really, it has this little cutout. I'm thinking you probably supposed to pull this all the way to this cutout, but that probably is impossible. I mean, it's not impossible, but the way I got it now, I like it. I ain't changing it. And nor am I gonna try to keep stretching this thing. Well, actually, no, it doesn't go right there because here's the screw hole. So yeah, I got it in the right spot. Keep it right here. One more time, this is how you attach it. This little channel right here, this little black piece is like a little channel. You stick the bottom in the channel. Mine's bent to hell. And then you screw it in. Then you slide this part over the top. This slides over the top of this, and then you screw it into the back of it. And then when that's all done, you take this piece, and it has these spikes on the back. You put the spikes in there, you line the spikes up, stick them through, and it has these screws that screw onto the back of them, which locks it in place. I'm not gonna put this on here right now because as you can see, this part of the car is super dirty. It's got like a little rust and dust in there. So I'm actually gonna get this cleaned and polished before I put this back on. Now, after this, you got 2 more steps. And those 2 steps are, you got to close up this bottom flap and these corners, which I've already kind of started to do. You can see right there, I folded it in a little bit. Close up these corners and this bottom flap. And then once you do that, there's a trim piece that goes around the top, a chrome trim piece. Here's mine, where it goes right here like this. You gotta attach that. This is the final step, this trim piece. But as you can see, my trim piece, if you look down it, you see like spotted and rusted. So I'm gonna get all this rust off, sand this and polish this and get this, bring this back to life and get it looking like new again. I'm also gonna do a separate video on sanding and polishing trim and show you how to get all your little thin trim pieces and bring them back to life. So, but this is the last step. Fold the bottom up, put the trim on. So I'm gonna show you how to fold this bottom up. It's real simple. Basically all you do is you tuck your corners, then you take this and you can put it, you can attach to any of these. Leave this out, this little leg out, because it has like a little foot. Leave a little foot out. Bring the guy up like this. Attach it there, and then come around on this side and attach it here. I'm gonna attach it to the second one, and then do that all the way down, and then tuck up this corner, and that'll be a wrap for the bottom. I'm gonna cut you back on after I do it. All right, there we have it. Basically all wrapped up all the way around. Got the corners tucked. Got the bottom all put together. We'll flip it over, let you see the other side. That's what this is the front. All smooth. Still a little crease right here, but I mean, you see I can rub that out with my hand. That'll eventually come out. Here's the speaker pod in there, nice and tight. All the seams look good. Bottom corner looks good. Now all I gotta do is, once I clean up the trim, I'm gonna put that in, then put the trim on the back. Then again, leather cleaner. Don't just use regular degreaser because you're gonna fuck your seats up. Leather cleaner on a rag. Wipe this joint off, and then leather conditioner, wipe that joint off, and you're done. And that's a wrap.